Okay, so I was rambling a little too much in this intro, so I'm gonna try to cut to the chase. I've been trying to use my stash of fabric instead of buying more fabric because I want to use what I have. And I saw this 7 days, 7 looks video with Kendall Jenner. I think that's what it's called. And she had this black satiny looking mini dress. It was like a v-neck, sleeveless, short, and looked like perhaps a simple make if I didn't try to copy the seaming, which I did not. I ended up actually using my princess seam pattern that I made from my block pattern. And yeah, it came out okay. Yeah, it came out okay. All right, I have them hanging here. So I have like my basic ones in the cardstock, but I think my princess seam one. Whoops. Good job, me. Is right here. Pull this out. And not destroy it in the process. All right, so here's the pattern I made before. So I definitely can fold this last because here's the center front. This is the only part that has to be cut on the fold. And then center or front side, back side, and then the back center. So this is pretty wide fabric. I could make this like this long. Think about it, but I think now I'm tempted. I'll think about it. But I'm thinking really to like this is my hip, so I was thinking maybe I go down, I don't know, that much. All right, I think I'm just gonna do a full 12 inches longer than that because I need some for hemming and also for like hers has like a little curve to it and it's a little longer in the back, so I think 12 inches is not a bad idea. All right, here's the aftermath of the cutting. And I think I need to push this to the side and iron all the pieces because I didn't do that before I cut it, which I know I'm supposed to, but I didn't. I'll do it now. It'll be a lot easier. To keep them straight, I think I'm going to lay them all out on here. So I put the center in the center. So hopefully there's enough room. All right, laid them all out in the order they're supposed to be sewn together, so hopefully that's correct. Clearly, it's not perfectly pressed, even though it looks like it on that ironing board. The shine shows everything, but it's fine. I figure it's gonna get a little wrinkled anyway while I'm handling it, so I'll just iron it again after it's sewn together. And I guess now I should really hang these pieces back up so they don't get messed up. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is go from the center out. So I'm probably just sew this together and then this together and keep going like that. Okay, I pinned the heck out of this, especially the curve here, but it's also just so slippery that I used my clips here to get the initial line up from like the waist. And the hip and stuff where I had marks. I should have had a mark here somewhere too. And maybe I did, I just didn't clip it. I don't remember. But I'm just gonna go for it. So, you know, shiny sides together. And hopefully this works out because I don't want to do it again. one seam down. I'm gonna do the other side now. Sorry for the washing machine in the back. So here's the front. The front's sewn together, so here's the center front and the sides. I was gonna just keep going like that, but I think what I'm gonna do is instead sew the two back panels together and then sew the shoulders together so that I can just do an all-in-one like facing for this, for like the armholes and the neckline. But before I do that, I think what I'm going to do is sew a 1 inch, like so 1 inch away from the back here, so that the center back I have like a place to know where to put the zipper and where to sew it up. I think that'll be easier to do right now before I sew the sides together. So I'm gonna do that real fast. All right, so here's the 1 inch mark, the thread mark, and I've like moved things around because I think I had it in the wrong order. Hopefully this is correct now. So this has to be the center back because there's a neckline and straight, and this has to be the side because it dips in. So I'm gonna sew these together here. So I pin all that together and sew it together, and then do that for both sides. I lined up the waist. I had done a little snip on the waist, so that's marked. That's where I'm going from, because I don't know how good well, I know it's bad, and a lot of the sides are jagged, and they've shifted around because it's also satin and slippery. So here. All right, sides are sewn together. So those two, and then the middle sewn together. This is the backs. So hopefully I sewed it all together correctly. I checked it like 5 times, but who knows if I checked it correctly? We'll find out. Next up, I'm gonna have to iron these seams. I pressed this one from both sides, and it looks a little flatter, but still not flat. I don't know, I'm toying with doing top stitching on either side just to push it down. And also, like, the dress I saw did have like these, it had like almost what looked like boning channels without boning that were just stitched over different seams, but I'm not sure if it's the same dress or not, but I did see it from the same brand, so I'll think about it. But first, on to the next press. Alright, so it looks like all of it was caught, even from the other side. Let's see here. So here is top stitched. I mean, it looks nice and neat. The seam looks nice. And here is not top stitched. So, I mean, it looks better. It looks better. So I guess I'm gonna do it. Like, it is more work, but I mean, right now it's not that big a deal. I still have to cut open the neckline, but I guess I'll deal with that when I get to it. But it is a lot easier to do this like this with all the pieces separate, so I'm gonna do it. So move on to the other back piece. So done. Done. Like, the bust area, I did the best I could. One side's a little wonky, but hopefully it'll be fine. That's what I'm gonna go with. Just 3 inches in from the sleeve, so that it'll end up being 2 inches after I put the facing on, and then 5 inches down, so it'll end up being 5.5 once the edges are finished. So let me cut that real fast. say, all right, there we go. So 3 inches in here, and just dead 1.5 inches down. Like I don't want it to be too low in the back because I want it to be stable too. All right, they're pinned. Nothing's like perfect. Like I had to cut in further into the seam here when did it, and this part doesn't match up exactly, which I knew was going to happen because I cut it in the carpet, and some of it worse than other parts, you know. So well, that's fine. I'm just gonna sew it up, and hopefully it works out in the sewing. So we'll see. Alright, now that I've ironed these open, I'm gonna do an all-in-one, or try to, because I haven't done this before. It's not for a dress, I don't think. I'm trying to do an all-in-one facing for the sleeves and the neckline, the whole neck hole area. So, and I'm gonna try to do it without going to paper first. I'm gonna try to go directly to fabric, which might be a mistake, but also I'm trying to cut every corner I can. I just did like a rough situation here. So I went 2.5 inches down from here, 2.5 down from here, roughly. I did like some marks and then just connected however weirdly it would be. And I'll see if I can just, when I cut it out, I'll fold it in half and like, hopefully it'll match up well. Alright, here's the all-in-one facing situation. There's the back, there's the front, and I hope it works. I didn't go like this because I wanted as little bulk as possible. I'm hoping this doesn't show through on the right side when it's inside, tucked inside, but we'll see. Let's cut it a bit here. Alright, it's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it's not, doesn't end up being too low. It was pretty high before, so I think it hopefully will be fine. So now I'm just going to pin both sides. Keep going. Alright, so arm sides are both sewn. Neckline is all sewn. So now I'm gonna just clip everything and clip the point here. So hopefully this works out. We'll find out. I feel like the V isn't as V-necky as it's supposed to be, but we'll see. I'm just gonna go with it because I don't have a lot of facing here. I think as it is, I'm gonna have to top stitch it down. All right, I'm just gonna go with whatever the necklace is now, and we'll see how it turns out. So I'm gonna try to do a little understitching where I can, sewing the seam allowance down to the facing. So hopefully it helps it stay on that side. But before that, I think maybe I should give it a quick iron. All right, so it looks pretty neat now. So that's good. I'm having a little problem with the point here because I cut off a bunch to make sure it's sharp, but now it doesn't have the same hold that the other understitched parts do because there wasn't seam allowance there really. I'll deal with that later. I'll figure it out. I think next I could do my zipper first to make it easier on myself and then do the side seams. Yeah, I might do that because right now I can just run it through flat, you know, and then after that it's going to be harder. Okay, so I don't want to buy anything new, like avoiding it. So that's why I'm using this fabric. So I'm doing this project. So here are the zippers I have. So I don't think I have a gray one. There's this taupe one and this light blue one. Oh wait, gray. Aha. I mean, it's kind of blue, but maybe I should get a couple and see which one looks best here. It's probably the closest. I feel like tonally this is the best. Alright, I think I'm gonna go with this one. It looks closer in person than it does on camera. Alright, I'm just gonna use the whole length of it just because I know the whole thing is fitted, you know? So it'll be easier to get on. Maybe 24 inches? It might be 24 inches. Yeah, I think it might be 24 inches. So I just pinned at the top and I'm just gonna follow this red marker. So I'm glad I put that in. Alright, press the zipper. Looks pretty good after pressing. And I think now I'm just gonna do the side seams. Alright, once again I've pinned the heck out of it. I was trying to do clips, but I was like, no, I think I need to really pin it. I'm going to try to remember to sew it at 3/8, not half an inch, like the pattern I made to be a half an inch seam allowance, but I'm pretty sure I'm heavier than I was. So I'm hoping that just doing a 3/8 inch seam on both sides, I think that'll add half an inch, I think. So is that right? I think half an inch. So try to remember to do 3/8 inch here. Alright, I tried it on real fast. It's a little loose, so I'm just gonna go back into the side seams and go to that full 1/2 inch seam allowance. So, oops. Okay, so the top isn't terrible, but like there's extra space here, probably because I cut in a bit, or a lot more than I was expecting to, because of the facing, and I was lazy. So, but I mean, I think I'll fix that later. And for now, I'm just gonna trim off the bottom. So let me do that. Maybe cut off like 4 or 5 inches. And just sliced off 5 inches. Let's see. Okay, I think it's good enough. So I'm just gonna turn in the hem. Alright, just folding this down and in to get the zipper. Alright, I'm just gonna tack this down by hand. Alright, just tacked it down real fast. It doesn't look the prettiest. It got tangled at one point. Also, like, it's fraying a bunch. I think I'm gonna go through and just pink the rest of it. Also, I messed up twice, and there's a little stitch on each side, just one on each side, where I accidentally went through. But I just can't be bothered to redo that for that, you know? It's fine. And here's like the stitch I put in for marking the 1 inch allowance here to put the zipper in. Now, see, this I could also seam rip out. However, I don't care enough. Maybe I'll do it later at some point. I don't know, but I'm not doing it now. So yeah, I think with that, it's pretty much done. I think. Okay, so I feel like this turned out fine. I mean, it isn't as fitted as I thought I would be able to get it. I think maybe like some kind of tie back, corset back situation, or even just adding like a waist tie would be helpful for this. I also think a mock-up would have been a good idea. But I also think the fact that it was a shiny silver instead of like a less shiny black really didn't do me any favors, because it shows every ripple, bump, indentation, because it's so shiny and light colored. It even showed the seam in the front for the tights, so it just really is not a forgiving fabric, and putting it in a tight silhouette, not the best idea. So even if I were to add like a tie at the waist or something to fit it nicer, I don't know, it's one of those fabrics that I don't know if this is the right application for it. That being said, it didn't turn out bad. Like, I don't hate it or anything, and maybe with some adjustments it'd be more wearable. Maybe if I added like appliques or I don't know, something. But as is, I'm glad I used some fabric. so that's good. And yeah, I'm gonna call this a modest win for now.